Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a fun and exciting video for you guys today because I've gotten so many messages in the last week about Donkey Kong 64 being recompiled for PC. Originally off the one I've been showing preview builds on the channel for, and I will have a new preview showing off some of the new features added later on this week. But as of yesterday, another secondary N64 recompilation for Donkey Kong 64 was announced, so now we're going to go from having 0 to 2 at some point in time in the future. And considering Donkey Kong 64 is absolutely a game that needs more love in the frame rate department and in the mod department, everyone's going to win when we're going to have multiple options out there. So this new recompilation we'll be talking about is developed by Rainchoose, Balam, Kilkilly, and Umad. I hope I'm pronouncing those all correctly because sometimes pronunciations are not my strong suit. And it's got a trailer out that I'm going to show you some footage for, but I've linked the original channel down below for their full video and only taken pieces to explain the overall concept. So definitely go down below, go to their channel, give them a sub, leave a comment saying VGE sent me, and give them some appreciation for doing that work. So you'll see here, DK64 Recompiled is going to be the name, and it's fun that we're going to be getting two separate projects on the same game. And honestly, considering rare games always push the hardware of the N64, but as far as it could go, and sometimes the performance suffered, this is definitely going to be a very needed thing. And even though people have been asking me my thoughts comparing the two, that would be an impossibility because I've only played one and I really don't compare fan projects together. I'm excited for everything to be out there, for people to get to choose what it is they want to play. So when it comes to fan recomps and PC ports, the more the merrier. When there's more out there, everybody wins. So taking a look at the Donkey Kong 64 recompiled footage, they're talking about mod support, including Tag Anywhere and other quality of life improvements, and that definitely is, in my opinion, essential for a Donkey Kong 64 playthrough, because the original Collectathon without Tag Anywhere is absolutely something. I just do not have any fun with it. The nice thing is when I run that preview later on in the week for Donkey Kong 64, the recompilation I've been talking about from that guy MCD, Tag Anywhere is now in the build as well, so that's going to be something that's fundamentally in both versions of the recomp and absolutely something that is just 100% necessary. Because back in the day, I remember as a kid, even I didn't want to sit down and do a 100% run of Donkey Kong 64 because going to get every single Kong that could pick up every single collectible in the game was absolutely just maybe one of the cheapest ways to extend the playtime of any N64 game I've ever played. And even though today I don't know if I would 100% the game again, just because I got a lot of stuff going on, being able to change anywhere is definitely going to be a very big component of both of these recompilations. And that really is nice because if it wasn't in either, the N64 version would still be my preferred way to play just because we do have the Tag Anywhere ROM on that. But as far as the quality of life improvements, it's going to be nice to get a cleaner, more performant copy of Donkey Kong 64 across either of these actual recompilations. That's always going to be a good thing for everyone involved. And honestly, it's just going to be nice. We're going to have modability across both of these different releases, because I think there is still a lot that could be done to Donkey Kong 64. Now that there's going to be not one but two recompilation projects out there, I would highly imagine that mods would work basically across both of them, because a lot of them are done the same way, and a lot of mods that work on other N64 recomps will also work across the board with these source ports as well. Now, obviously, we're going to have to wait and see exactly how that pans out, but it is nice that both of these different recomps are going to be getting a very similar feature set. And this is going to be on Windows, Macintosh, and Linux, according to the developers on this one. And if Rainchoose sounds familiar, they did the Quest 64 static recomp, which is the best N64 recomp ever made for Quest 64. All jokes aside, the recomp is excellent, but Quest 64 is Quest 64. No matter how you shake it and improve it, it is still a little bit of a janky game. And that kind of makes me think, we've got a lanky Kong, we've got a manky Kong, and we have a cranky Kong. Why is there not a janky Kong out there in the Donkey Kong universe? You wait, I'll read a comment and someone will tell me about some deep cut character from a comic book that came out in the late 90s that has a janky Kong that I've never heard of before. But honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun to play around with these when they come out. And no, I don't know when either of them is going to be releasing, but suddenly soon you're going to be having not one but two different options for Donkey Kong 64 recomps out there. Let's go into a soundtrack sample from the recomp I actually have a build for, so you can hear the audio quality. And I'll come back, talk more about the feature set and what I'd love to see from both of these recomps moving forward for Donkey Kong. So just so you know, maybe in like 48 to 72 hours from the time you're watching this, I will actually release the next preview of the Donkey Kong 64 static recomp that I've been playing. And you're going to see here, just like the one I've been showing, there's going to be widescreen support. There's going to be high frame rates as well. So that's going to be nice across the board on both releases. Now, the one fundamental difference, and again, I let you guys decide how you feel about it. I'm sure some people won't care. Some people will care greatly, and some people might be in the between. One of the Donkey Kong recomps that I've been showing you is using Claude as an assistant to make it, and this decomp or recomp that I'm showing you right here is not using any sort of Claude or AI assist in the background. So that is a delineating factor between the two, and that's one you're going to be able to decide when these are both out which one you might want to play more. But again, I'm not the type of person that compares fan projects directly against each other and tells you, quote unquote, this is the version I would play. I really like these projects to stand on their own, and I support everyone making some really fun stuff for fans out there, because again, everybody is spending their own time to make creations like this. And you'll see here we get that same widescreen and higher resolution in engine on the DK64 recomp that I've been showing. And honestly, there's been some discussion about what the name on that one should be, and I said it should be Rebunched for Bananas. So if you like that Donkey Kong 64 Rebunched, leave me a comment down below and you tell me, so the dev might name it what I want, just because I think it is kind of funny. And the other thing is, if you're going to make the comment and saying that we don't need to, it's a waste of time, one, people can decide what they want to spend their time on. We're not here to decide for them. And two, across the N64, we have multiple examples of the same game having 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 different PC ports or static recomps. On the Super Mario 64 side of things, we have stuff like the actual ray tracing version. We have Ghost Ship from Harbor Masters. We have Super Mario 64 Plus and even Co-op Deluxe. And everyone loves every single version of it. They pick a favorite or they use one depending on what it is they want to play, and then they just go with it. Same thing for Star Fox 64, for Mario Kart 64, for Ocarina of Time, as well as Majora's Mask. We have PC ports, we have recomps, and they stand toe-to-toe, and each version has their own pluses and minuses, and people decide if they want to play one, all of them, or none of them. So really that conversation about, do we need 2 Donkey Kong 64 static recomps, to me at least, is a moot point. I'll take 4 of them if 2 other people want to make me one. I'd be stoked to have that many out there for people to play around with, because options are always good. The more options we have, the better, and everybody wins when we have choice. Another thing that the developers of Donkey Kong 64 recompiled, the footage you're watching here, been talking about, that also that guy MCD has been talking about, is basically making sure that the minigames work with the increased frame rate, because a lot of them are tied dependency-wise to the actual speed of the game, and if those aren't adjusted, some of them might become basically unwinnable. So that's something, these things don't just get faster frame rates without actually having to go in and amend gameplay code, because sometimes the actual frame rate is so intrinsically tied to the gameplay in and of itself that changing it could actually introduce issues into the game that have to be handled manually to make sure everything works. And it isn't an easy job no matter how you slice it. These games are complex even if they are back from the N64 era. But honestly, I'm so excited in 2026 to keep talking about all these different static recomps and PC source ports we're getting based upon decompilations. And even though this project is listed as a static recomp, it does say it uses information from the decomp as well, and that's definitely something you can do. Decompilations more often than not end up becoming PC source ports, but they also benefit in static recompilations, which don't technically require a decomp, but can be aided by its presence. So that's definitely something that is fun to see. And honestly, I feel like at the back half of 2026, because we're basically there depending on when I show you this video, might be the end of June, might be the beginning of July, probably end of June though, I think. We're going to be getting even more of these things in the last 6 months of the year, some of which you know about and some of which I've been shown by developers that you'll just have to wait and see when they come out or when I do a preview. But if you're a Donkey Kong 64 fan, and you should be, it is going to be a very exciting time in the future, because you're going to have multiple recomps to choose from that seem to all be having a similar feature set. So it'll be interesting to see where they kind of delineate and where they kind of share the same kind of concepts, because honestly, with mods and Tag Anywhere, that's kind of essential for Donkey Kong 64. When I run the next preview for Rebunch, and damn it better be called Rebunch because I came up with it, I think it is funny, I'll show you guys the analog free camera, including mouse control support. Not sure if that's something that's coming to the other recomp we've been talking about, but I would highly anticipate it is, because full analog camera really makes this game that much more fun and honestly that much easier to play. But short of that, we have not one but 2 different Donkey Kong 64 recomps in development, and we always win when we have choices. And in my heart of hearts, I really hope that both of these end up being 10 out of 10, so we'll win even more. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.